What are the best rifles to invest in Atomfall? So I have the 4 only good rifles in the game, and by that I mean they're not the 22. The 22, unfortunately, it's just bad. It's a single-shot rifle. I think it can one-shot headshot against non-armored, but it's single-shot. It's just not very good. It's not competitive, so it's like ammo efficiency is quite poor. Everything else has more capacity and significantly better damage. So the rifles we're actually considering are the Lee Enfield, the Falkirk battle rifle, the Bullpup rifle, the JM3, and then the Enfield LMG. Now, of these, first we'll go over the stat differences. These are all pristine. So bolt action, you're looking at excellent damage, low rate of fire, very high accuracy. For the Falkirk, you're looking at high damage, high rate of fire, high accuracy. For the Bullpup, we're looking at very high damage, very high fire rate, high accuracy. And then for the LMG, excellent damage, low accuracy, high recoil. Now, of the damage categories, excellent damage is the highest. So the only 2 weapons with the maxed out damage are the Lee Enfield and the Enfield LMG. And then in second for damage, we have the Bullpup, which is very high. So it goes high, very high, excellent. And then the lowest of these is the battle rifle, which has high damage. Now, all of these will one-shot headshot humans, but the ones with excellent damage will do more damage versus robots, versus the feral ghoul type dudes. In terms of recoil, the recoil on the bolt action doesn't matter because you cycle the bolt. The recoil on the battle rifle, let's check it. So we have a few shots here. Everything has ammo loaded, so everything is using the ammo right now. But let's check out like per shot and like fire rates. So the battle rifle, the recoil is very manageable. It's semi-automatic. Seems decent so far. For the Bullpup, it has a scope, but the scope is misleading. It doesn't actually increase the zoom level at all. The scope itself does not magnify. What happens is the camera zooms in a little bit, and as far as I can tell, the zoom, you see there's a zoom? The zoom on irons and the zoom on the scope is identical. Now, if they changed it so that the scope itself had its individual zoom, or if there was more zoom, like camera zoom, then the scope would matter, but unfortunately there's no like scoped weapon. This is very accurate, so this is very good for that. And then for fire rate, shoots quite fast, and its recoil is just kind of like a climb that alternates left and right a little bit. And then for the Enfield LMG, has noticeably more recoil, but it says low accuracy, but do not trust this game. When it says a gun is low accuracy, but it basically doesn't mean anything. If you ADS, like look at it's hitting exactly where I'm aiming. So in terms of just raw damage output, it has to go to the Enfield LMG. However, fully automatic, its accuracy is kind of all over the place. It kicks like horizontally. So like if you're trying to go full auto, first of all, I don't recommend that ever. There's no reason to go full auto in this game. You're going to burn through your scarce ammo. The maximum ammo capacity is 45. That is literally a magazine and like a partial magazine. You can't even have 2 full magazines. So like, and also there's this. If you have ammo, let me like unequip a weapon really quick. Get some ammo back. So if we reload, this is very important for veteran mode. I hate this feature. I think it's really stupid, but unfortunately this is what happens. I have 12 in the magazine. If I reload, he throws it out. You're in a, think about it. You're in a survival situation. Resources are scarce. Ammo is scarce. There's enemies everywhere. Let's just throw out 12 rounds. Dumbest feature in any game ever, but it's on the highest difficulty. So how do you play around that? So what you have to do is literally unbind everything. So like, let's say you want to reload this. You want to top this off. So I want to unequip it. So let's equip this. Okay, and then let's equip, we can rebind it now. So it has 0 loaded, and now we can top it off. Let's do some basic combat testing, starting with the Lee Enfield. Now, the advantage of the Lee Enfield is it forces you to focus and pick your shots, which is really good in this game because ammo is scarce. It has high per shot damage, so it builds good habits, and it also conserves ammunition by virtue of how it is. Now, under pressure, it has like the lowest effectiveness because it doesn't fire fast or have a huge capacity, but 5 capacity in this game is really good. Most firefights are like 4 to 7 enemies, and if you open with like a Molotov on the center of mass of like group of enemies, you will rapidly kill most of them, then you can clean off whoever survives. But you generally want to take your time in combat, especially with all rifles. All marksman weapons, you want to take your time, line up your shots, and execute. Otherwise, you're going to waste ammo, and if you waste ammo, it doesn't matter the capacity of the gun, you will simply be out. Next, we'll do the battle rifle. Gonna make sure we line our shots up. There we go. Now, even though you can go semi-auto, do not panic and start shooting a lot. Take your time, line your shots up. It is very easy to just start unloading. Now, the big advantage of this weapon is that it still one-taps, it's still accurate, it's still like a really good weapon. Oops. Follow-up shots are faster, however, as I outlined before, because you can make rapid follow-up shots, you are going to be tempted to correct your mistakes, and obviously if you miss, you're going to then make a follow-up shot, but you are usually much better off holding off until you have a really good shot and then taking it instead of just like going for quick snappy shots. Like, you can still easily miss in this game even with the sway reduction. There's still ambient sway, their heads move depending on what like animation they're doing, like reloading or moving or whatever. Next we have the LMG. Now the LMG has the same per shot damage as the Lee Enfield, and honestly I do think it's pretty competitive with it because of that. You still want to take your time, you still want to be very deliberate with your shots. For melee enemies, you can let them get closer. You can actually pull a melee out and just fight them too. You don't have to like shoot them. He was going for a grenade, so that gave me an opportunity to get an easy shot on him. I do think this is competitive, but with all the other weapons, do not top off to reload. There goes 25 bullets down the drain. And finally, we have the bullpup, which has a scope, but the scope doesn't increase zoom level. You might prefer the sight picture of the scope, but the irons in this game are pristine. They're unironically like really good. The scope is not bad though. I wish it had more zoom, but it's not bad. Shit, just missed there. He sees me. There we go. Yeah, you really want to take your time. Now, if you are under pressure, you do not sit out in the open. What you do is you hold cover, you bait their shot, you wait for them to shoot, and then you shoot them. You punish their miss. That's the way to do it. But these are preoccupied. Now, this does have a nice scope. It can go automatic. The automatic thing, though, I don't recommend doing it because you're better off going for clean headshots. You're gonna burn through your ammo. On veteran mode, ammo is scarce, even if you do trading. Like, if you regularly go to traders and trade them, like, weapons and stuff for ammo, you can still burn through ammo really quickly. Another thing you can do if you go to reload and you notice you have ammo is just sprint to cancel it. So if you do not want to throw out ammo, sprint cancel, and then just unequip as you would normally to then reset. So then we just unequip, equip something else, and then just re-equip. And then you can reload. Kind of clunky. I don't think it really makes sense. I guess this is their version of like combining mags, but not a fan. So what are the best rifles if I were to rate them and if I were to organize them by which ones are like better than the others? So I do think the Lee Enfield is tied for first with the Enfield LMG, and there's an asterisk next to the Enfield LMG where you are not going full auto ever. You are placing your shots always, you are not making excess follow-up shots, and you only reload when you are empty, or you only top off by unequipping the weapon, changing weapons, and then re-equipping the weapon to top off. Because otherwise, the risk of throwing out huge amounts of ammo is just always present. And I do think it hurts all these guns So if this is a feature that is always going to be in veteran mode, I do consider these guns to be a little bit worse than the Enfield, just for the fact that you can accidentally throw out like 20 rounds. And that is a big problem. But aside from that, it does outclass the Lee Enfield in raw performance if you manage these downsides. It has the same per shot damage. It does have really good accuracy, even though it says low accuracy. It's lying. I proved it earlier. And if you place your shots, it'll just be the best weapon in the game, in my humble opinion, because it has the highest damage, really high accuracy, really good capacity. Now, the Lee Enfield, on the other hand, can be upgraded and found super early, and you can run this throughout the entire game, and there is really no downside to it. That doesn't punish you for reloading. It actually rewards you for topping off. You can reload individual bullets, and in a hardcore survival game where you die fast and ammo is scarce, reloading individual bullets instead of throwing out like 10 to 20 rounds is pretty huge. So in terms of just like the reload and the punish factor, it's pretty low. It also has really good per shot damage, really good accuracy, and it's just really competitive. Now for the other two options, they're not bad. The bullpup is totally good. Like these are all good weapons. All the rifles are like good. I would say these are like S tier if I were to tier them. And then this is like A. The bullpup is very good. The high damage is nice. The accuracy is nice. The scope is decent. The iron sights in this game are very easy to read though. They're not bulky, so you can actually have a clear like sight picture of like the silhouette of the enemy's head even at far ranges. Now if the scope had more zoom, I would bump this up to S, but unfortunately the scope is kind of just like a one times, so it doesn't really give us any kind of zoom. Otherwise, I would say this is A. It just has less damage than these, and it also has the risks of being a magazine fed on veteran, which, you know, you can throw out ammo. It sucks. The Falkirk, I would say, is like a solid B tier. It's notably less damage than everything else, but its accuracy, like all of these are accurate weapons. All of them are high damage weapons. They all one-shot headshot. But I would rather have the LMG because of its higher per shot damage. The recoil doesn't matter because you just take individual shots and line your shots up. You do not go full auto or semi-auto in any of these weapons. You can, but it's just a bad idea. You're going to, the potential to burn through ammunition on this like difficulty is just way too high. But it's a good weapon. It's serviceable. If you like it, you can easily beat the game with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But it does do less damage than the bullpup, and it does do less damage than the LMG. So these just outclass it in terms of raw stats. But that is it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you find this useful. If I did have to place the 22, if the 22 had abundant unique ammo that was cheap and everywhere, and it could one-shot headshot fully upgraded, I would rate it okay, but because it's single shot, I would give that like an F tier. It's just terrible. It wastes your rifle ammo. There are way better rifles. You should not run your bullets through the 22. But yeah, that's it for this one. Peace.